Hey all, welcome back to Homeschool, and I am with the fifth part on a chapter called Magnetic Effect of Electric Current. So already we have finished 4 concepts, that is 4 videos on a chapter where the video links are provided in the description area. Please go to the links and get perfect with the concept. Coming to the today's video, this is the most interesting, also very important topic of this chapter, where you will study the Fleming's left hand rule, on which many questions can be asked in the board examination. The concept is important, the type of questions they ask is important, and everything is important on this concept. And I'm sure that you will have 100% clarity on a concept and you can answer with utmost confidence with the questions that come across this topic after watching this video. Fine. See, the heading of a concept looks very big. So what is the heading here that's there on a board? Force acting on a current carrying conductor in a magnetic field. What does this mean? We all know a conductor carries current. Say on that particular conductor where current is flowing. So there is some invisible force that acts, invisible force that works on that particular conductor when it is kept in a magnetic field, when it is kept near to a magnet. So when a conductor which is carrying a current, when such a conductor is kept near some magnet, some force is acting on it, some invisible force is working on it. That's what we are going to study. What is that invisible force? How does it act on it? So what happens for a conductor when force acts on it? Everything we will discuss in today's video. See, to understand the concept better, I am starting with certain experimental setup here. Okay, carefully observe the experimental setup. Say we took aluminium rod here. This is aluminium rod, which is a conductor that can carry current, right? And that aluminium rod is freely suspended with wires. Okay, these are conducting wires made up of copper. Okay, say there are 2 ends for a rod. One is end A, the other one is end B. Okay, so end A is connected to a negative terminal of a battery. End B of aluminium rod is connected to positive terminal of a battery. Okay, and one important thing is that particular aluminium rod I kept in between the magnet. This is a horseshoe magnet which has a north pole and a south pole. Okay, so between the magnet I kept that aluminium rod. So some magnetic field, permanent magnetic field is already there in a setup. Okay. So now what I will do, I will on the switch. Say how does the current move in which direction? Definitely from positive end of a battery. See the arrow marks I have placed all together, all over. You can observe the arrow mark. So these arrow marks are the direction of current. Okay, say current will flow from positive end, it will go up and it will reach the end B, and from end B it will reach end A. So here what is the direction of current, guys, across a rod? From B to A, right? And again from A it is coming back, reaching to negative terminal. So one important observation you have to do is the rod is kept in between the magnetic field. Okay, horseshoe magnet. Fine. So this is our setup. And now, when the current was moving across a rod, you know what? Suddenly what happened was the rod has moved. The rod has displaced. The rod moved towards the left side. The rod moved towards the left side. So which is making a rod to move? This moment you will observe only when you pass electric current across a rod. The moment you off the switch, there is no electric current. The rod's position is as it is. Magnet's position is as it is. Actually, magnet will not move here because magnet is fixed. The position of magnet is fixed, but the position of rod is not fixed. It is freely suspended. It can move whenever some force acts on it. Right? Say the moment current is passed through a rod and when it is kept near the magnetic field, you know what happened? Movement in the rod, displacement in the rod took place. Usually, can you tell me when does an object move? Say for example, this chalk piece from here to here, if I want to move, I should apply some force, no? I should apply some force. Say for example, when does the chalk piece on my palm move, guys? When I apply some force. So any object will move whenever you apply some force. This is what we studied in science right from 7th standard. Right? Until and unless you apply force, an object will not move. See here what has happened, aluminium rod moved. It may be a left side or right side. Don't worry about the direction now. Aluminium rod showed some displacement, some movement, some motion. That means some force is acting on this particular rod. There was current carried in this particular rod. Such a rod has moved. It has displaced in presence of magnetic field. Why? Because of force acted on an aluminium rod. So what is that force? How that force generated? That's what we are going to study now. Understood the experiment? When current carrying conductor was kept near a magnetic field, let us write the point. Okay? When current carrying, which is a current carrying conductor here, this aluminium rod. Current carrying conductor is kept near a magnet. So it is kept near a horseshoe magnet here. So what happens? Displacement or movement of a conductor is observed. Yes or no? Is observed. Conductor suddenly moved. Aluminium rod suddenly moved when current was flown, when it is kept near a magnet. Right? So this is what observed from a particular experiment. Now, why the displacement took place? Because some force is acting on a conductor. So why is the displacement? Because a force is acting on a conductor. Force is working on a conductor. Okay. Now my big question is, why is a force acting on a current carrying conductor? Can you able to give the answer for this question, guys? One point is very, very clear for us. Why the current carrying conductor moved or why it got displaced is because some force is acting on a conductor. Without any force, it cannot move. Some force is definitely acting on it, so it is moving. So my next question is, why is the force acting on a conductor? It is because two magnetic fields are coming into picture. Okay, see, whenever a current passed in a conductor, magnetic field gets generated. This is what now we studied all like in all the previous videos. Han Oersted is the scientist who told, whenever current is passed in a conductor, magnetic field gets generated. Whatever may be the shape of a conductor may be there in a straight line, conductor may be there in a circular loop, or conductor can be a solenoid. In all the situations we have seen magnetic field getting generated. Okay, so what happens here? The moment current passed in this rod, magnetic field gets generated. So you have two magnetic fields here. One is the magnetic field generated on a conductor. The other one is the magnetic field of this magnet. So two magnetic fields are there, guys. So between the two magnetic fields, definitely you will observe a kind of attraction or repulsion. When I bring two magnets together, either attraction or repulsion occurs. That is what the force here. That is what the magnetic force that is acting on a conductor. Okay, so why is the force acting on a current carrying conductor? It is because of two magnetic fields. Two magnetic fields. Okay, so what is the first magnetic field? One is the magnetic field generated on a conductor, generated on a current carrying conductor. Yes or no? Whenever current is there in a conductor, only then magnetic field can be generated, right? And the other one is magnetic field of a magnet. Yes or no? So there are two magnetic fields. So what happens here? Attractions or repulsions occur between these two magnetic fields. Between these two magnetic fields. That is what the force that is acting, that is what the magnetic force, attractive or repulsion is happening. No, that is what the force that is responsible, that is a reason for the movement of this conductor from this position to this position. Okay, so from the position A to, it's moving to the left or right, whatever. Okay, so that movement is due to the attraction or repulsive forces between the two magnetic fields. One is the magnetic field generated by the conductor. The other one is the magnetic field already there with the permanent magnet. Okay, so this is the force that is making conductor to move. Clear? Fine. And now, on what factors this magnetic force is depending on? Because whenever force is there, movement of a conductor is possible. Now we got to know how that force is generated. What is the reason for that? Now we are learning that force depends on certain factors. Okay, so what are the factors on which the magnetic force that is created on a conductor depends? Let us see one by one. Okay, guys. The very first factor on which the force depends is strength of a current, or I can say the magnitude of a current. So what do you mean by strength of a current? You know what? When you give more current, say for example, this is a 3-volt battery, right? So when we took 3-volt battery, the displacement of a rod is very little. But when I took 6-volt battery, the displacement of a rod is too much. Okay, imagine the rod previously has moved only this much, but now when I change the battery to the 6 volts, automatically the flow of current would have increased in the rod. The rod displacement is this much. Okay, the rod will move to a greater distance. So what I can write here, strength of a current. So more the current I, more is the force. More is the force on a conductor. Okay. Because more the current, actually more magnetic field gets generated on a conductor, no? So when this magnetic field is stronger, outermost permanent magnet's magnetic field is also stronger, then automatically force generated on a conductor is also stronger. Displacement of a rod will be higher. To a greater distance, the rod moves, the conductor moves. Clear? So what did I write? More the current, more is the force on a conductor. So more is the force on a conductor, more is the displacement. More is the motion, or displacement of a conductor. Yes or no? So this is the first factor, guys. And now second factor is direction of current. This is also very important. You know, direction of current. Say for example, I'll change the direction. This is now the positive terminal. This is now the negative terminal. So now how is the current direction moves? Current direction is now opposite, right? So whenever I change the current direction, the direction of the force also will change. You know, the rod, see in the previous case, when the direction of current was from this side, the rod moved to left side, I said. And now I'll change the direction of current, the rod will move to the right side. Definitely force is acting on a conductor, but that force is moving in which direction? Force is moving in another direction. Okay, so direction of current. If direction of current is changed, note down the point, very important. If the direction of I is changed, the direction of force also changes. Direction of force also changes. Okay, so when the direction of force is changed, you know, now the rod may move, here, like this. Okay, previously from end A you have observed the moment. Now you will observe the moment from end B, more of a moment. Clear? Say direction of current is also important here. Based on that also, you know, the direction of force depends. Clear? Fine. The third factor is magnitude and direction. Magnitude and direction of magnetic field. Magnetic field. Okay, say already some permanent magnet we are keeping here. This will have certain magnetic field. So more the magnetic field, more the strength of this magnetic field, more will be the force acting on a conductor. And same way, if you say now I'll keep the north pole here, south pole here. Previously, it has moved to the left side. Now when I change the poles, I'll keep north, south here. And now the movement is different, guys. Okay, the moment it may move to the right side. Clear, everybody? Previously it moved to the left. The moment I change the poles, you would find the movement in the right side. Okay, just like a current, when you change the direction of a current, direction of a force also changed, no? In the same way, when you change the direction of magnetic field, direction of force also will be changed. Okay, say this is the third factor on which magnetic force depends. And the next factor is length of a conductor. Length of a conductor. So anyway, this point we don't study under 10th level. More about this point is studied in 12th. Okay, so majorly try to remember these 3 points. First one is strength of a current. If you give more current, more is the force that acts on a conductor, more is the displacement. When you change the direction of a current, direction of force also will change. Okay, and later magnitude and direction of magnetic field. When the amount of magnetic field changes, amount of force changes. When the direction of magnetic field changes, direction of force also will change, just like a current. Okay, and finally the length of a conductor. Fine. And try to remember one point here. The note is very, 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 very important. So note it down. See here, force is maximum. Force is maximum when the direction of current and magnetic field is perpendicular to each other. Perpendicular to each other. This point is very, very, very important, guys. See, for example, this is the direction of magnetic field, this is the direction of current. So how are they perpendicular to each other, right? Say when the situation is something like this, the force generated is maximum. Means in this particular situation, force generated is very much high. You would observe lot of displacement in the position of a conductor. Okay, clear? So this is a very important point. And another point is force is minimum. Force is minimum when the direction of current and magnetic field is parallel. Okay, say for example, this is the direction of magnetic field. If current is also moving in the same direction, force is created, but the force is very much negligible. Okay, force is very much minimum. Less amount of force is created on a conductor. Clear, everybody? So the two important points that you should remember compulsorily is this. So when you would observe maximum force, maximum displacement of a conductor, when the direction of magnetic field and the direction of current is perpendicular to each other. Okay, when do you observe very much minimum force, very much less force or zero force? When the direction of magnetic field and the direction of current is parallel. Okay, now let us try to discuss the directions of the magnetic field, current and force. Okay, so how they can be perpendicular, how they can be parallel, and you know what is the direction of force, how to find the direction of force, everything we will discuss. See guys, listen carefully. See, the direction of the force or the direction of the movement of conductor can be found with the help of a simple rule called Fleming's left hand rule. Okay, this is a very important point. See, what I would like to write here is direction of a force, magnetic force or a movement. Movement of what? Movement of conductor. Conductor is what moves, no? When force acts on it. So the direction, that direction of movement of a conductor is found. This is very, very important. Found with the help of Fleming's. Fleming is the name of a scientist. Okay, Fleming's left hand rule. And now, what do you mean by this Fleming's left hand rule? It's very simple. Try to understand. Take your left hand. Okay, take your left hand. And here are the three fingers you have to use. The first three fingers. Thumb. We know this is a thumb. This is called index finger. And this is middle finger or ring finger. Okay, only we will use these three fingers. And stretch them as much as possible. Stretch them. Yes or no? Stretch. And if you stretch them as much as possible, you see this finger is in perpendicular with this finger. This finger is perpendicular to this finger. And this finger is perpendicular to this also. You know, all the three are mutually perpendicular to each other. You take any two fingers, their position is perpendicular. That's what we call all the three fingers are mutually perpendicular to each other. And here, carefully think, observe here, the direction of an index finger, this is index finger, no? Direction of an index finger is the direction of magnetic field. Direction of index finger indicates the direction of magnetic field. Direction of middle finger indicates the direction of current. Then the direction of thumb finger will tell you the direction of force. Okay, so with the help of this Fleming's left hand rule, you can identify the direction of force if you know the direction of magnetic field and the direction of current. Okay, so which finger indicates the direction of magnetic field, guys? Index finger. Which finger indicates the direction of current? That is our middle finger, that is ring finger. Which finger indicates the direction of force or movement? That is the thumb finger. Thumb is very important, no? What are we going to find out? We are going to find out the direction of force or direction of movement. So thumb is very important. So the important thing is taken up by the thumb finger. What is important? Force is important. That's what we are going to find out. So thumb will tell you the direction of force. Okay, index finger will tell you the direction of magnetic field. Ring finger or middle finger will tell you the direction of current. Okay, that's all. Let us try to write the definition for Fleming's left hand rule. So what I will write here is, when the three fingers, what are the three fingers? Thumb, index finger, and middle finger are stretched as much as possible, so that all three fingers are perpendicular to each other. Then, very important, then if index finger indicates the direction of magnetic field, middle finger indicates the direction of current, then the thumb finger gives the direction of force. The thumb finger gives direction of force or motion or movement of a conductor. Clear? Very simple. Okay, when three fingers are stretched as much as possible so that their position is mutually perpendicular to each other. If this finger, the index finger indicates the magnetic field, ring finger indicates the current, then thumb finger indicates our important thing, that is force. Okay, so with the help of right hand thumb rule, if you know the direction of magnetic field and the current, you can always find the direction of thumb. Okay, so one thing you observe, the force is maximum when the magnetic field direction and current direction is perpendicular. And you can also observe one thing, the direction of force is perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field as well as the direction of current. Isn't it? So these points try to remember. Now I will show one example so that you will get cleared with the concept. See here, I have a conductor where the current is flowing from this direction to this direction, that is left to right. Okay, it is moving like this horizontally. And what is the direction of magnetic field? Magnetic field always moves from north to south, no? So north pole is down, south pole is up. So current is moving in this direction, magnetic field is moving in this direction. What is the direction of force? How does the conductor displaces? In what direction conductor moves? Conductor movement takes place. Apply Fleming's left hand rule. Okay, say index finger is what? Direction of magnetic field, no? So index finger, I'll keep it here. Direction of current is from bottom to top, no? So I'll keep my index finger like this, bottom to top. And you know, this middle finger indicates what? Direction of current. Say current is moving from left to right. So my middle finger, I kept it like this. Then how can I keep my thumb finger? Keep the thumb finger as far as possible. See, this is how I can keep my thumb finger. That means the rod will move like this. The rod will move out of the paper. See, this is the paper. This is the board. Okay. So how is the rod will move? Rod will come out of the board, right? Rod is coming out of the board. Or if it is a paper, rod will come out of the paper. Right? So rod's direction is something like this. I can show if I have to show with arrow mark. But practically speaking, see, if this is the direction of magnetic field, bottom to top, this is the direction of current, left to right, then direction is outward. Okay, the rod will move like this. The rod will move like this, outward, out of the board, out of the paper. Clear? See, this is what we can always decide what the direction of magnetic force. If we work with the more questions, you get more clarity. So now let us see the questions on Fleming's left hand thumb rule. Okay, guys, coming to the questions. See, I have 3 different questions here. Let us discuss the second question because the most basic and simple one. They have given a diagram. See where B in the sense magnetic field. Okay, magnetic field is actually represented with B. Anyway, we don't use it at 10th level. So let us write magnetic field as MF. Magnetic field is moving from left to right. Current is moving from top to bottom. What is the direction of force? Outward or inward? Let us check it. Okay, say we know that our index finger is for magnetic field, middle finger is for current, then thumb finger is for force. Okay, now let us apply the Fleming's left hand rule. You have to take only the left hand, guys. You are not supposed to take the right hand. Okay, use only the left hand. See, magnetic field is my index finger. No, I'll place my index finger like this. Okay, and this middle finger is a current. Current is going downwards. So I'll place my middle finger downwards. Magnetic field left to right. See what is the direction of my thumb finger? This is what the direction of force, no? So how is it positioned? What is the position of my thumb finger? Outward or inward? Out of the board or inside the board? If this is a paper or this is the board for me. For you guys, you will work on a paper, right? So if this is your paper, is your index finger pointing out of the paper or into the paper? Out of the paper only, no? It's projecting out. So what is the option? Outward. Force will act outward. Okay, fine. And now, coming to the first question. Simple as this. Figure below shows the direction of force. Yeah, force direction they have given. Observe. Force of a conductor when it is kept in a magnetic field. Again, B in the sense what, guys? Magnetic field. What you have to find out? You have to find out the direction of current. So adjust your fingers according to the figure. So this is your magnetic field. This is your magnetic field. Okay, and this is your thumb will always for what? For force. Okay, so thumb I'll place it like this. My index finger is magnetic field. No, I'll place it like this according to the directions shown in the figure. And now this finger is for current. How is it moving? Outward, no? Out of the page. It's moving out of the board or out of the page. So what is your option, guys? What are the options given? Out of the page, into the page, east, west. Definitely it is out of the page. Okay, because see, index finger I'll keep it at B. F direction is your thumb finger. So what is the direction of your this finger? That's middle finger, it's outside. Okay, that's out of the page. Clear. Coming to the third question, very, very important. Electrons flow from left to right. Electrons are flowing from left to right. This is the flow of electrons. Okay. Magnetic field, bottom to top. This is the direction of magnetic field. Then what is the direction of force? Actually, what is the direction of force. It should be force. So how do you say? What's your answer? Can I consider, okay, direction of my index finger is magnetic field, okay? So I'll place my index finger just here above the arrow mark, okay, of MF. And is the direction of electron and the direction of current same? No, right? Current flow is opposite to the direction of electrons. So what has to be your direction of current? This is your direction of current. They said they gave direction of electrons, but current direction is not as the direction of electrons. We have to take conventional current, guys. During Fleming's time, conventional current only was there. So what is the direction of conventional current? Opposite to the flow of electrons. If the electrons were flowing from left to right, then our current is from right to left. This is the direction of current. You should consider direction of current with the middle finger, not the direction of electrons. Okay, so now what is the direction of force? What is the direction of force? Okay, so this is like very much, okay, so this is my index finger is for magnetic force, middle finger is for current, then our thumb will show you the direction of force. Okay, so adjust according to the figure. So this is my index finger. So this is what, guys? My eye. So this is eye. Middle finger is for eye. Okay, now my index finger is showing which direction, inside or outside? Definitely it's not showing inside. It has to move inside, right? So into the page is the answer. Into the page. You see how forcefully. See, my index finger definitely moves out. Outward means definitely index finger will be outside. Okay, then here in this case index finger is actually going inside, going, I can't stretch, you can't stretch this inside, okay. So actually it is going inside. So what's your option? Into the page. Clear, everybody? So sometimes they will trick you by giving direction of electrons, but you should not consider direction of electrons as direction of current. You should take the opposite direction as the direction of current, then work with the Fleming's left hand rule. You will get the direction of force. Okay, so this is how you will have to work with Fleming's left hand rule, which is very, very, very important. Its definition is important, and it's also important that they'll ask the questions, what does the middle finger indicates in the Fleming's left hand rule? What does the middle finger indicate? Magnetic field. What does the ring finger indicates? Current. What does the thumb finger indicates? The direction of force. And also this is how the questions they can ask as MCQ or 1 mark questions. Okay, where you have to be ready in answering whatever the type of questions they ask. So with this, I complete my session. We will meet up in the next session with the new concept of this chapter. So subscribe our channel to learn the concepts in a easiest way and in a detailed way. And you can also post in the comments about your doubts. And you can express your feelings about the class also. Like if you feel it wonderful, if you have understood everything, just mention in a comment so that we feel 100% satisfied. So your comments matter a lot for us. Thank you so much.